Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the Jeep Gladiator. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Schmiller Jeep here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Gladiator. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.6-liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 17 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 285 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, nothing's really changed here. You still have the same design, which is cool. It's got a boxy look. It raises towards the center. But notice here, we've got this new grille design. And then we do have halogen bulbs with this. And then you've got the base turn signal there. And then you've got fog lights here in the bumper. We also have recovery points as well. And putting it all together, I mean, it's the base version, but it still has that cool boxy design. Now around the side here, our steering wheel setup is 245, 75, 17 in the front and over on the rear. You can see the wheels are all blacked out. And then you got these huge fender flares. Still has a solid front axle if you're wondering. And then look at that little accent piece there. And then I got the Jeep logo here on the side, trail rated. Notice it's all blacked out. I think that's kind of a theme with this one. And then here's your full side view with this Gladiator. Now here's a look at our key fob. It's got the Jeep logo and that is literally it. This is as base as it gets. Now popping into the back, this does slow lower down. We got LED lights here in the bed. Outside of that, it's just a normal mid-sized pickup truck bed. Tailgate's very light, which is nice. Jeep logo there in the back. You've got recovery, or a recovery point rather. And then you've got the squared off taillight design. And so putting it all together, let me know you guys, sorry, camera got wet from the rain, but let me know what you guys think about the looks here of this Gladiator. And then inside you've got some soft touch where you can rest your arm. You've got this little cargo net. And then we've got the same seats from the refreshed Wrangler. Here's kind of we'll move this out of the way. Anyways, here's kind of a better look at the seat itself. Getting in's easy. You got this grab handle. You can just kind of move across. And then legroom here is pretty good for a mid-sized pickup truck. You've got a little storage pocket there. Vents in the back. We've got some cup holders down below. And then manual window in the back. And then headroom. It's good. Now taking a look at the front door panel. You can see the self-touch here. And then you've got our door handle here. Quick look at the mirrors. And yes, this does have, hand crank windows. That's pretty cool. We've got 1,027 pounds of payload capacity. And then you've got the cloth seats here, manual adjustments on the side, and then your light control here, and then that's cool in the dash. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, again, basic with the material use. We do have radio controls though on the back. Cruise control, controls for the center as well. And then you got your regular stocks here on the back. And then we have this gauge cluster here in the center. You can see the analog gauges on either side, and you've got that little screen there, which we can use to see different bits of vehicle information on the Gladiator. And then in reverse, we do have a backup camera here. You've got the zoom function with this as well. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, same thing that's in the new Wrangler. So response time, pretty solid. You've got single zone climate with this. And yeah, that's all she wrote. Like this across the dash. Got a grab handle just down below. And then nice glove box. And then we've got our analog controls here for the climate, also for the radio controls as well, your off-road cruise control, and then the USBs. Shifter here for the 8-speed automatic. We've got the auxiliary buttons there as well for items, 4 of them to be exact. And then we've got our 2-speed transfer case function right there. It's an actual shifter, which is nice. And then you've got your parking brake here with the cup holders, and then center console. It's good storage. Nice padding on the top, and then no top insulation, and then with the top you can just do this to get the top off, pretty simple. So here's our window sticker for the Gladiator Sport 4x4. So $37,895, and here's all your standard equipment with this, and then optional equipment, and then there is your total MSRP, $45,945. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, for the rest of the rear, and let us set off in the Gladiator with hand crank windows. $45,000 hand crank windows. It doesn't get any better than this. I reviewed a Tacoma today, $45,000, and it did not have hand crank windows. I will say that. Go watch the review if you want to see the equipment on that Tacoma for literally the same price. But you know, setting off, I just drove a Rubicon X before this, so I literally am reviewing like the most loaded up Gladiator back to back with the most affordable Gladiator. And it's interesting to see, like, there's a lot of similarities, obviously, because they're both Gladiators, but it's interesting to see where the money goes, because that was like 70 grand pretty much. This is 45. So for that is so much money. For an extra $25,000, you get a bit, but it's yeah, it's interesting to see. Man, it's just came all from the roof. I will say, drives shockingly similar. Shockingly similar. Like, even though the Rubicon's supposed to have different shocks and everything, it looks like they got rid of the Fox shocks, because I did not see Fox branding on the Rubicon shocks. Yeah, it's not too different. This is firmer over bumps. The Rubicon it's a little bit squishier, handles it a little bit better over the bumps. But it's a nice drive. Handling's good. Again, for a body on frame, solid front rear axle vehicle, it handles pretty dang well. And it's got a kind of like lightweight feel to it as well. The Wrangler has a similar feel. You know, if you get the V8's the one that has that big bulky feel, but yeah, this obviously doesn't have a V8, sadly. That's nice, and these new seats are pretty comfortable. I'll say, this is just my personal opinion. I think the new upgraded seats, like in that Rubicon X, I'm not as big of a fan of those as the previous seats. I am a big fan of these new cloth seats. I think these are better than the previous cloth seats. So I feel like they've improved the base seats and unimproved the loaded up seats a little bit. Yeah, because I think this is a nicer looking interior than what you had before. And it's cool that you can get the loaded up screen with all of them, right? It doesn't, so I shouldn't say loaded up, it's standard. So it's nice, instead of having a little box in the center. Good torque. Not too shabby. Got another acceleration here. But yeah, it's pretty solid with how that feels. Doesn't feel as punchy as the Rubicon though, because it doesn't have a, I think this is a 3.31 axle ratio. I might be wrong on that, don't quote me on that. But yeah, the Rubicon I know has a 4.1, so that's got a bigger punch right off the bat. I mean, it's pretty good with the acceleration for what it is, for being a naturally aspirated V6 with sub 300 horsepower. So to cap things off here with this Gladiator, you know, the thing with the Gladiator is, it was really exciting when it came out, because it's like, it's a Jeep truck, right? But now that it's been out, it's a very interesting vehicle, because it's not as good at rock crawling as a Wrangler, because it's long, right? So it just doesn't have as good of a breakover angle. And then when it comes to doing mid-size pickup truck stuff, it doesn't have that much payload, and the towing capacity is not as good as the other mid-size pickup trucks, and then it's expensive compared to other mid-size pickup trucks. So it's not as good at Jeep stuff as a Wrangler is, and then it's not as good at truck stuff as other mid-size pickup trucks. So where the Gladiator makes sense, I personally think, is as an overlanding vehicle, because it's, you know, Wrangler is not a great overlanding vehicle. Like, in terms of the capability, yes, but it doesn't have a lot of space. This has more space than a Wrangler, so that's where it's a better overlanding vehicle. But outside of the overlanding use, I kind of slightly struggle with the Gladiator. But let me know what you guys think about the Gladiator. I just think that outside of the hardcore Jeep fans, I think it's going to be a hard sell to the rest of the market, just based on just based on what this offers for the money and everything. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Gladiator Sport.